This is a great start to the passage, and I'm really excited we're able to sail. Dolphin sighting, going up to the bow.
When I go to reach out and to roam, there is no perception of a home. When it's all been said and done, I know.
All right, we are underway. It's about 6 p.m. from Torre del Orso over to Montenegro. We're headed to Kotor. Right now, we may divert to Bar if the weather makes more sense to sail that slightly different angle. So, an oh-so ever brief stay at Torre del Orso on the eastern side of Italy, and we were here for just a couple hours. Had a quick sort of light snack dinner, and we both laid down to get rest before our overnight passage. And man, I slept super deep. I had 2 hours and I was under. So I guess that's good. I'm a little groggy, but we're underway. I'm going to take first watch. We're doing 3-hour watches again, and we're going to be doing 6 to 9, which is what I'm doing, and then Karen's going to come on at 9 to 12. I'll come on at midnight to 3, and then Karen will be 3 to 6, and then we'll figure out the daytime after that. We figure it's about a close to 24-hour passage, so we should get into Montenegro tomorrow, late afternoon, evening time. So right now we're underway on our sail, so that's good news. We added a couple new instruments in the cockpit. So we've got forward there on the next to the companionway are 2 new Ray Marine. They call them multifunction displays, but they're kind of like repeaters of other data on the boat. And it's good because you're looking forward and you're looking out over the water as you're when you're on watch anyways, and you got 2 instruments to look at, and we can set those up for displaying any kind of data. So that's nice. The boat came with the autopilot instrument here and a repeater here. So these were in addition to the chart plotters on both helms. This was the other place for us to look at while we're navigating. So if I'm standing here in the middle of the cockpit, I can look down and see what's going on, but it's really nice to have instruments right close to your line of sight. So that's helped a lot for us to be more alert about depths when coming into a harbor and when sailing and watching wind angles and all that. This is a great start to the passage, and I'm really excited we're able to sail. We've had a lot of long stretches of motoring from when we left the Ionian Islands and Milazzo. So we had sort of spurts of sailing during that, but we didn't really have much in the way of extended sailing. So this has been a good day so far of sailing, and now we're starting the overnight passage, and we've got some good breeze, about 15 to 20 knots of wind. Just a little before nightfall, it's about 7:45. Wind's piped up quite a bit, seeing about 24, 25 knots of wind, and our boat speed is hitting 7s and occasional 8 knots. So I guess exciting. It's a little nerve-wracking knowing that we're going into darkness with this, and I know when Karen comes on watch, she's not going to be thrilled to do this kind of roller coaster stuff. So the boat's rolling quite a bit, kind of corkscrewing. It's going down the side of waves and then into the trough and slowing down, and then the jib kind of luffs a bit and then pops open as it fills with air again. So it's a little bit of a wild ride. I frankly wish it was a little calmer, but we get what we get, and we're humming along. I think our ETA right now to Kotor is like 11:30 in the morning tomorrow. So we're way ahead of what I was thinking as far as timing.
As we changed watches, we took a reef in the main since the winds were continuing to build.
Saying goodbye to the day, the beautiful sunset, and lots of wind coming with it.
At one point, I saw a squall line on the radar and rolled in the jib as a precautionary measure in case the fast approaching storm came with a big increase in wind strength. I saw a couple gusts at just under 35 knots, so I was happy with my decision. The rest of the night passed with very little drama, just the way I like it.
Dolphin sighting, going up to the bow. Oh wow, they're huge. Yeah.
Oh, they're so beautiful.
Wow.
Wow, there's 3 right on this side.
Oh
right
yeah?
here.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Wow. Oh jeez, all 3 of them coming up together. She was. I know. They're huge. Wow. I know. All 3 of them right close together here.
Boy, these are big guys. Wow. There's another one
They
down
get-
here.
Crisscrossing back and
Oh,
forth.
and another one.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, we're trucking along here with our code 0 up. Good sail for the last 10 miles or so into Montenegro. You may not recognize me and my sailing partner here, but this is what happens when you take a shower, clean up. What you doing?
I'm adding little loops to our towels because they fall off hooks. So if you put this on, it stays around the hook better, and then the towel won't fall on the floor where it gets all disgusting.
Nice work. Well done. So we're doing 7.7, 7.8 knots there. The wind went from like 7 to 8 knots to about 10 to 11. True, and this is what happens. The boat just sort of accelerates. And it helps that we're on a beam reach here. So Montenegro in the distance here. We're going to be going in and clearing into customs at Zelenika, something like that, right inside the entrance to the Bay of Kotor. And then we'll find a nice place to anchor for tonight. This is the Costa Victoria coming out of the Bay of Kotor with some beautiful, very tall mountains in the distance there going up into the clouds. So we doused our code 0 and we're motor sailing with the main up. We got to kind of snake our way up into the bay here and find the customs dock. We're trying to get out of the way of the cruise ship as well. So we just finished clearing into customs in a dock down there past that catamaran. Took like half an hour, very straightforward. You had to check in with the police first, and they directed me to the harbor master's office where most of the paperwork was done. And they gave us a vignette, which is a permission to visit here for 7 days. Costs us 28 euros. Not a bank buster, thankfully. Karen was remarking about how some of the buildings are right close to the water level. And you can see that here. They wouldn't handle much of a surge, storm surge. In fact, it looks like that building there might be below the water line with that big wall in front of it. So you can see our Montenegro flag up there flying proudly, brand new. Now that we're cleared into customs, you can get a sense of how mountainous it is here. This really reminds me a lot of when we first arrived in Majorca, where you had these mountains that rose up so steep from the water. Really beautiful. I was about to report on the quiet stillness of this cove at Svente Marko. A bunch of barking dogs. There's a dog on shore and a dog in this boat barking at each other. But still, it's a pretty peaceful place. So it's like a U-shaped, almost somewhat man-made harbor here. There used to be kind of a really rustic retreat here. You used to come and stay in grass huts, apparently. But they built this nice stone wall and these steps that come down. So it looks like it was built to be a kind of a swimming area. More steps over there, stone steps, beautiful stonework along the edge. And we are settling down out to dinner here in a little bit. Super peaceful and quiet, again, other than the barking dog. And we're looking for a nice, pleasant sleep. And we're really looking forward to exploring this whole Bay of Kotor. There's a lot of history here.
We anchored last night right in this area, and we're heading over into this other set of bays over in here. And this narrow area here is what we are heading towards right now. The sides of the mountain come down really dramatically, and it's a pretty narrow area of water. We're heading toward the town of Perast. So this narrow area is called Prolas Varige, and I want you to sort of make your way through here quickly. I can imagine in the summer it is very busy. Heading through here with lots of boats. There's constant little car ferries taking people from one side of the harbor to the other. And we'll probably see another one pass here in just a moment. And there's already lots of boats out and around. A couple big guys, a couple little guys. Lots of charter boats through here, and I suspect we'll even see many, many more when we get up into the Croatian waters. Around here, these mountains, these surrounding mountains, rise to as much as 1,000 meters rate from the water side, especially down in this bay that we're heading over toward. So pretty dramatic to have these crazy high mountains, 3,000 feet coming from sea level.
Once through the Narrows, we decided to anchor off the town of Kotor. The concentration of red-tiled roofs show roughly where the very old and still walled-in part of the city is. You can see the ramparts in the foreground with a corner of the protective wall on the left. In addition to these thick, multi-story walls, there is a fortification that scales St. John Mountain behind the city. It is topped by San Giovanni Castle, which sits 280 meters above the surface of the water, far below. A steep walkway allows the energetic visitor to hike up and enjoy the beautiful view. All along this steep hillside, you can see evidence of lookout towers, interior passageways, crude housing for the foot soldiers who stand watch, and even a chapel built into the fortification. We set off on the hike to the top as soon as we went to the shore, and afterward we found some refreshments in one of the many quaint plazas that open up off the narrow passageways in the ancient town. There is no motorized vehicle traffic within the walls. Everything is transported using something like this.
They have a nice daily market here in the morning, every morning in Kotor. We're gonna check it out.
We visited this market a couple times, stocking up on cheeses, salamis, olives, nuts, and lots of vegetables. At night, the town walls and the hillside fortress was lit up, and this view was just magical. After 3 days anchored off of the ancient town of Kotor, it was time to move on.
Never get tired of this view. The big mountains coming right down to the water. Lots of churches everywhere. I think in Kotor there was probably 8 or 10 churches or cathedrals of one type or another. So we left the town of Kotor this morning, and we're just doing a little short motor over to Perast, which is right up straight up ahead there. I think that next church tower. And there are 2 islands just off the town that it was sort of a shallow area, reef area. And apparently they sunk a couple old ships there and then took ballast stones and other stones and built it out to make it above water. The one on the left here, it used to be a Benedictine abbey that's kind of, they say it's disused. And then on this other island over here is a church with apparently some really nice architecture inside and paintings and all that. So we hope to come back here by dinghy and check out those islands.
We are standing on the island at the Lady of the Rocks and looking over at the town of Perast over there. Looks great with the mountains in the distance. It's a really pretty town. And this is the other of the man-made islands out here. And this is looking over in the direction of Kotor.
We don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too. I've been saving you, and you save me too.
So here's some guys hand fishing. There's at least 4 or 5 of them out there on this Gulf of Kotor. We are up near Racine, the town of Racine. We just went into, we dinghied over to the village of Perast and enjoyed a lovely evening. Bottle of wine and some cheese and prosciutto along the shore in Perast and came back, and it's just a lovely night looking out at these gorgeous hills. It's so nice to see these guys out here doing their hand fishing in their small fishing boats. Very traditional way of fishing. Pretty cool. The stars on this map mark our Bay of Kotor stops. And before heading north toward Croatia, we stayed one night at the large marina in Tivat, where they have easy access to fuel and a customs dock for our checkout of Montenegrin waters. We had heard they'd catered to big boats, but this was just over the top. After spending 6 weeks in Croatia, which will be covered in other videos, we checked back into Montenegro on our way south toward the Greek Ionian Islands. On the second visit, we didn't venture beyond Herceg Novi and the brand new marina that is a nice stroll from the old town. Well, until next time, thanks for watching.
All I see is perfect shadows all